Alright, this is not the same day as a live update video, but like I said, we're getting more involved in the E46, so let's get it, boys.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Alright, so with the E46, if you did not see, this happened. That was mid gear, fourth gear, Grange. Brake light switch failure. It was a hydraulic brake light switch, which is not a good idea. Don't do it. It was this guy, terrible. So now we're putting in this guy, which is a mechanical setup. But we got to do that on the car. But one of the things I really wanted to focus on is getting this car looking pretty again. I got a hold of a stock body kit from Lorenzo over at SoCal E46 Parts. So I already threw on a stock skirt. You can kind of see it. And you can see kind of the hangover and all the body stuff that we cut up. This fender's not really attached, but it's got to get cut down and all that to size. Just use some of the OEM clips. We'll probably clip it on and throw a couple bolts in it so it doesn't come off anymore. And then we got to figure out what we're doing because some of this was, I don't want to say cut janky, but it just wasn't finished. The job wasn't finished on this, and pretty sure I did that. But anyways, I got to finish all that, clean that up. Throw some fresh tires on it, which I have over there. Get 255s mounted on those so that I can have a little bit more stretch in the front, and stickier tires because those are just regular tires, it's not the SX2, the SX2 RS. It's just a SX2. Yeah, it's just the SX2. It's not the SX2 RS, which is the sticky Formula Drift tire. We'll put those on the back, and then we'll have to get another pair for the front and get rid of those soft, hard tires. This is one of the biggest things we're dealing with in drifting when you're running walls and doing different things. You can kind of tell if guys are going deep or doing what they're supposed to based off of these corners of their cars, and sometimes like the bash bar. The bumper is one of the things. You could see this side is nice and done up. But yeah, these corners get messed up, and then after having that crash, we totally screwed up the front end of the car, headlights and all that. So what I did was I hit up my boys over at Unique Style Racing. And the guys over at Unique Style Racing said, yo bro, your lights look mad disgusting. You want some freshies? I said, you're damn right I want some freshies, baby. So I went on the website and I picked out some lights that I like. And this is what we're going out with. Some fresh boys. I'm talking fresh boys. This is what we ended up with. These are the old headlights. You can see the lenses are kind of scraped up and scratched. These are the fresh ones. They still have plastic on them. Hasn't even been removed yet. I don't want to take it off yet until I'm done installing them. You can see stuff like this just twisted to the side versus that one straight. And these have just been through war is essentially what's gone on. And the front end of my car, for whatever reason, I'm constantly hitting clips or hitting people or whatever, small children. But it's constantly messing up the front end of these. So we got a set of these, and what these are the USR Unique Style Racing headlights for an E46 chassis. Plastic lenses, but it's got the xenon thing, and it's got the angel eyes as well. So these are gonna just look ridiculously good in the front end of the car. We have a set of those for the front, and then we also have a set of fresh rear tail lights. So they make the front and rear tail lights for these cars. You can kind of see the difference. Those ones look a little depressed. These ones look all new and shiny. So we got some fresh headlights and taillights for the car. So between the headlight refreshment, the taillight refreshment, and then cleaning up the bodywork, this thing's gonna look like a completely different car. And then also we're going with the M3 front bumper that we also got from the boys over at SoCal E46 Parts. So that'll have to be cleaned up. We'll get some Street Fighter stuff to finish off the kit and make sure it's all legit. Let's get into it, dudes. Let's check out these lights. I look into this wiring. But before we get into the wiring on these, let's get all this stuff out of here. Oh, I forgot about these also. I am so sorry, boys. We also have some gangster LED corner lights. So these will sit like that. Boom, bada boom. Boom, bap, boom, shaboom, bap. Those are gonna look really nice relative to non-existent ones. That'd be cool, but let's get this unloaded, see what's all in here, and get this box off the table. So it looks like they sent out some instructions and whatnot with the kit. on how to install and how to wire it up. That's pretty cool. We're not going to follow any of these. If you have an OEM car, you should, but none of our lighting is wired in like any of this, so that's going to be something that we have to figure out, but it's fine. Oh look, some more pictures. Detach headlamps from the car. You're going to use a screwdriver with some holes or something. Put the housing cover back on. Yeah, so we're not using any of that stuff, but it does come with it, so when you have your OEM car, they show you exactly how to wire that in. That's pretty cool, but here's the setup that we have on ours. The E46 chassis is wired up with Deutsch connectors, so all these quick disconnect stuff. And then we ended up having to swap headlights at one point, which were wired different, so we had to do all this kind of janky stuff out on the road. Figure out a way to try to make it nicer. But we have to essentially take this wiring that we already have in the car and make it turn on these lights. So, as you can see, it looks like this kind of has a harness already set up in it, which is cool because it's already giving us the ideas of like power and ground. And I think that these are gonna be the angel eyes. What I'll end up doing is I might end up switching like my high beams to my angel eyes so that we have those lit up, but we can cut these off real quick and then we can wire them up to a Milwaukee battery and test what these wires do. But it looks like we already have a power and a ground set up there. These headlights are also gonna have, these plugs here are OEM, so they're also gonna have a power and a ground. These would be your high beams, and then these low beams here are gonna have a power and a ground as well, which these are the ones we're really concerned about. So coming from the car, what I have to figure out is which of these two sets of wires is gonna be power for what light. So browns on BMWs are usually gonna be your grounds. So I know that these two wires are ground, but which one of these is gonna be regular running lights and which one of these is high beams. And then what we'll do is, on this end of the harness, we will cut the browns, connect them to the blacks, which are now your modern day general ground colors, which we'll double check them, but I'm almost positive. So we'll wire those blacks into these browns, and then we'll figure out if this yellow goes to this yellow, which it might, because sometimes manufacturers of parts, aftermarket parts, like to match colors so that it's a little bit easier to deal with. But yellow to yellow potentially, and then red to this white with a green stripe. And then we'll have to unplug this side and essentially do the same thing. But let's test these lights. Let's turn them on with the Milwaukee battery first, and we'll go from there.
New camera angle, boys. What? So I figured this would be a pretty good camera angle just so that I can kind of do two things at once, show you guys what's going on and also capture everything that's happening on this table.
That's like Selena Gomez and Selena and Chef. The intro is always her turning on the camera, and she has one up there and she says hi.
Oh my God, Selena Gomez, hi. So we have that camera up there, and then also
we recruited Hannah over there. I wanted to just kind of have a couple camera angles. Hannah isn't officially in the crew just yet, because she hasn't gone through initiation. Do you want to be in the crew?
Yeah, you want me to chug down that coffee?
No, you have to be. You have to go through initiation.
I thought that was the initiation.
It's kind of tough.
Okay, what's the initiation? What the? Run!
welcome aboard.
Not on my Uggs!
You're in. All right, Hannah's now officially part of the crew. Colt, I swear, dude.
Colt does not
Colt's
need
the wrong dog.
freaking 3 shots of espresso.
Okay, hold on. Time out. We gotta clean that up now. Why'd you spill that everywhere? Hot rod reference was worth it. I literally just cleaned the whole garage floor the other day. Yesterday.
Can't tell.
Can't?
Just kidding.
Scumbag. All right, now Hannah's part of the crew. She can help film. That's pretty cool. Welcome.
Oh my goodness.
So I was telling you we had to figure out what these wires do. In order to do that, we will take one of these Milwaukee batteries, make sure it's charged. We got some decent power in this one. On the Milwaukee battery, there's a positive and a negative. Positive and a negative. So we know what does what. And we'll take a pair of our trusty wire cutter lopper things. We're gonna give it some slack because I'm not gonna use this harness. This whole harness is just for the angel eyes. We're not gonna use the harness to do the angel eyes. So, basura. We can set that aside. Now what you'll do is you'll take your wires from the kit and we're gonna strip them. Wow, I'm terrible at stripping wires. That's why Tony does all this.
You're terrible at stripping? Anthony's a stripper? What?
Anthony's a great stripper. If I have any old ladies on the channel looking for a sugar baby, Tony Baloney is your man. We call him Tony Baloney for a reason.
What's the reason?
Baloney's nice. Alright. So now we'll take these two wires. We will usually insert the ground first on the negative side, and we'll take the positive side and touch it. Boom. So we know it's fairly simple. You have, ooh, sharp edge of plastic. Just cut myself open. I don't know what edge that was. Careful, boys. So we know the angel eyes are pretty simple. There's a power and a ground wire, and that's pretty much it. Easy. That's figured out. Done. Now we're going to move on to this side. So with the actual halogen thingamabobber, we're going to wire it in direct. So what I'll do is, I don't want to plug on a plug on a plug on a plug. Like this plug plugs into this plug and then this plug plugs into the chassis. So I would like to hardwire these in. That was the whole idea of doing these Deutsch connectors. So what I'll do is I'll cut this plug off because we're not going to need it. Or actually, I might be able to depin this. No, I'll just cut them. So we'll take this plug, cut it off. Then we'll take these wires and strip them. Boom, bam, shaboom. Again, the assumption is the black wire is the ground and the yellow wire is the power. And we'll know that right away. So there's your negative and there's your positive. Oh, almost had it. Looked like it worked for a second there. Did I break my battery? No. We're good. Let's try that again. Negative and positive. And now it's not working. I think I broke it. Whoops. It flashed, so.
Yeah, I saw the light, but.
Yeah, let's just make sure we didn't break it. They have popped this bulb in here. Oh yeah, we totally popped the bulb. Bulb is popped. Well, that freaking sucks. I guess that bulb can't handle that much, or maybe I just did it wrong. Here's an idea. We have another light. Let's just try it on that one. Or do these have the same light bulbs in them? Oh, they sure do. Look at that. I think it does. Yeah, totally. So we can take the light bulbs out of the old one. It's like that's like an identical light. Oh, awesome. Cool. That light
okay,
sucks.
just drop that one again.
We don't need it anymore. Alright, we'll insert this one. Let's see if we can't blow this light up too. I did that wrong. I was supposed to unplug it before I plug it back in. This is the high beam bulb from that other headlight, so if I break it, no big deal. Because it'll be a low beam anyways. Alright, let's try this again. In 3, 2, 1. Broke it again. I know which one's power and ground though, so that's kind of cool. So I don't know why it just pops. Maybe there's like an amperage regulation that needs to happen through the wiring. The battery's not allowing it to have. But, yep, that one's broken too. But anyways, it's fair to say that this is the power and this is the ground. So what we'll do is, instead of wiring it up to here, now that we know what those do, we'll stop blowing light bulbs.
I was gonna say, watch you pop that one too.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the game. So it's fine because I have another one. This is the low beam bulb. This is the bulb that's supposed to be in this side anyway, so I'm not worried about it. That's kind of cool. So they give you the xenon looking lens on the inside of the headlight. It's just a basic traditional light bulb, which is cool because then you can change kind of like the color of the bulb depending on the temperature, the kilowatts or whatever the hell the measurement is. You can change if it's yellow or if it's white, and then you can also change it for quite a bit cheaper. So I actually like that. It's not a true xenon It's more so a replacement for cars that have regular bulbs. You can throw that in there and get the xenon look, or Exxon or Xenon, I don't care. But then it just uses these light bulbs, which are fairly cheap. So like I think 10 bucks or something at AutoZone, you can replace these, so that's cool. That's $20 right there. Now we know the wiring on it. The one thing that I did want to try to figure out though was the wiring for the high beam, but I don't think I'm gonna run the high beams on these. So it should be fine. I think I'm just gonna do high beams on Angel Eyes. Oh look, another bulb that we can break. So that's kind of cool. I think you just pull these out. Yeah, sweet. That's cool. So they set it up to where you can just plug in your stock stuff and move on with your life and stop breaking stuff like me, trying to experiment on how things go together and which way the wires go. Nonetheless, the wiring is figured out. All right, so it's just as I suspected. You have your power and your ground for your Angel Eye, and then you have your power and ground for your low beam. So the one thing we have to figure out the low beam is that if it's gonna keep breaking because of us wiring it, but I have a feeling that I'm blowing it because of the batteries. I never really popped a light because of a battery like that, so I don't know why it's breaking because of that, but I'm sure it won't break in the car when it has the right amount of amperage set up on it. So now that we've figured out what goes to what, it's time to figure out how we want to wire up. Oh, we have to actually figure out this guy here. And one of the ways we can do that is by, oh, well, I'll have to take this light back out. One of the ways we can do that is by plugging all of this back in that I just plugged in here. I have to unplug it here again. But we can throw that headlight back in there, plug it in, unplug a wire, and that'll tell us what does what. So this was the low beam light. We'll throw this back in the low beam position. Boom, throw that on there, throw that on there. Actually, no, we don't. I'm an idiot, sorry. What I'm realizing is that I have the wires right here in my hand. Oh, but these are different. So white is high beam and yellow is low beam. We can just double check it. The problem is I want to double check on this one because I know what this one is because it's literally right here in front of me. Or we can just wire it all up and then see how it goes. So if that's the case, then this yellow wire will be our low beam setup. So kind of like what I was talking about earlier, kind of assume the yellow would go to yellow, brown to black, white to red, and then brown to black on this side. Or this gray, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. Alright, let's do some chopping. I don't really like this spade connector setup, and I might keep it for the sake of being wrong right now. Yeah, let's do it. Rip these off. Get it, oh my god. Get a new set of these going. Cool. Alright, I'll be back.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and do connectors, and then at some point, Tony Baloney, I'll have him solder it all because I don't have the soldering tools. So the way we'll do this is with a couple of spade connectors. These are the male ends, these are the female ends. We'll make those the male ends. And then in order to keep these fairly close, man, I really don't like the way that looks, the way that it goes together. We can have them meet somewhere in the middle. That should be about fine. This might actually have spade connectors already in it. It's got some males on it, so that's kind of cool. If I can depin these, then I can maintain them, which it looks like it's pretty simple. It looks like I just need a pick or a flathead, a little flathead electrical screwdriver. Mama told me when I was young. Boom. So now we can take these and go black to brown. That was too easy. White to red. Boom, so those are in. Now we need to put some male ends on this side. So we have a couple male ends. Grab two of them. Wires are pretty much already stripped. So just spin these setups right here. Crimp the red. Make sure you get a good crimp on them. And when you crimp your wires, you always want to test it. For instance, that I just cut it because I pinched it too tight. But make sure you're testing your crimps. This one loose wire can cause a world of trouble. You can ask me how I know. I'm sure some of you do. Our pro spec year in 2020, one wire caused a season of pain. So just make sure you're checking your stuff. Give it another pinch up here. Another little pinch. You want to tug it. Like I'm giving us a pretty good amount of tug on that relative to it being a wire, but I know that that connection's solid. But just check them. So black to brown, this way, black to brown, yellow to yellow. Let's put a light back in here. We can toss this in the car close to the connector and test it. Then we'll see if those lights are breaking because of the Milwaukee or because of something else that we might have to address. But I have a feeling it's because of the Milwaukee. Boom, bap, boom, pow, boom. To the car.
Help you some sunny day. Alright, so now that the wiring on the back is there and completed, we'll just set it over here in the position. I saw the position! Dude, all this plastic is sharp. Just don't cut yourself, alright? This stuff is sharp head. Alright, so now we'll take our headlight harness and we'll plug it into our chassis harness. Let's see if we can't get this thing to light up without breaking the bulb. So it should come on right when I touch my ignition. Is it on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something with the amperage in the battery. Anyways, you can test it though. So that is wired up right. Now if I hit my high beams, we should get angel eyes. I don't know why it doesn't want to stay on. Oh, I probably changed it. But I'll hold the button. How's it look?
Good.
Look cool?
Yeah. That is cool.
I'm gonna have to reprogram it because I don't have the programming right in there. My bad. Wow, this is pretty clean. So after throwing in the bolts here and doing a little zippity-doo-dah tie in the back, should have headlights back in the car. I want to peel this off so bad, but I know I shouldn't. Nope, not doing it yet. Wiring's good. That low beam's really low. Well, but that's the light from the other headlight, so it might be kind of jank. We'll see. You know what we could do is we'll put the high beam bulb on the other light. We'll switch that high beam into the low beam, and then we'll see what that looks like on this side. Cool. We got the wiring down. Let's let's wire up the other one.
Like we said, let's take the low beam out of here, swap it with the high beam, just to see if there's a visual difference. It looks like they're completely identical, but we're gonna swap it just to swap it, and if it looks the same, then cool, we'll leave it. If it doesn't look the same, then we'll make some adjustments on the other headlight. Brown needs to be a male. Usually you'll flip-flop them. The reason that you'll flip-flop like male-female, it's actually smart, is because you don't want to accidentally plug the wrong one into the wrong one. So it forces you to plug them in only one way. But Tony didn't match the other side, that's my problem. Just throw it in the car.
Now we test it. Let me just put real quick safety screw in there. That's not on there very good. Yo, these beauty washers you can get them on Amazon. These little black ones. You can get them whatever color you want, but they make everything way nicer. All right, ready? Let's see if we did this one right.
Yep.
There we go, baby. We got headlights. All right, I'm gonna hit the high beams for the angels. Oh, real quick, do the lights look any different? Brightness? No.
Yeah, that one looks a little brighter.
Does it look a little brighter?
I thought. You can't really tell on camera.
Nah, they look the same.
Wait, close the door.
They look the same.
No, that one looks brighter to me.
Nah, they look the same. Let's see those angel eyes, baby. Show me those angel eyes, baby.
Ooh, mean.
How's that look?
That looks good.
I wonder how I just kind of want to see this. Is it right? I'm already thinking about future work. How's the hood line up with them? Oh, freaking dialed already. So that's pretty clean. Those are the headlights. The side markers I wasn't gonna wire these in because we don't use them because we don't need blinkers in the racetrack. And guys with BMWs don't even use these anyways. For the sake of like the visual appearance of them. Sorry about my super janky beat up fenders. This is like contact corners. Like I said, corners of the car are terrible. But that's kind of what it'll look like when it's done. Obviously sat in there right and correct, but yeah, it looks sweet. I like it. What's that from, Batman?
The Joker?
I like this job. I like it.
Super dope. So we're not gonna wire these up, but I'll maintain the wires. At least I can cut them at the end there and tuck them away so that if we ever do get any ideas to wire them up, maybe with the Angel Eyes or something, that'd be kind of cool. I just don't know about the amperage it's gonna pull in the Switch Pros because it has amperage overloads, but those are LEDs, so they don't pull a lot of amperage, and so are these, so maybe it's not gonna affect it at all. That's the headlights. We have actual functioning headlights, so big thank you to USR, aka Unique Style Racing. Shout out to those guys. Thank you for the love on this project, helping us get the Pro 2 car back together. They're also helping us out with the WRX, so this is probably gonna come out before that video comes out, so we'll actually be doing some headlight stuff on the WRX as well. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting. Stay safe, homies. Later. Oh, yo, get you some Black Rifle nerds.